Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Carlos Rivera. I am here to help you build wealth. I'm here to make you rich through a strategy called BRRRR. It's a lesson in leverage. It's a term you're going to hear about a lot, and it's investing in real estate. First question I have for everybody: is debt good or bad? You've been told to stay out of debt your whole life. Is it debt good or is it debt bad? It is neither. It's a tool. Like a hammer, it can help you build or it can help you destroy. Let's use it wisely. That's the whole key to this. So you're going to hear me talk this presentation pretty fast. Let's do time constraints. Let's dive right in. BRRRR, what is it? It's leveraging debt to create wealth. B with 4 R's. We'll get into what those mean in just a second. But the point is, you're going to be using money to make money, and that's a beautiful thing. Mechanically speaking, leveraging allows you to accomplish a greater goal with lesser force, right? So if you're lifting a car, are you going to be lifting it with your arms? I mean, I'm not. I'm a pretty strong guy, but not that strong. You're going to be using a car jack. The jack is going to be doing the work. In finance, leverage is using fixed cost, aka debt, to maximize the potential. In other words, to maximize the money in your pocket. Two types of fixed costs: operating costs, which is rent, salaries, etc. If you pay yourself a rent, or excuse me, pay yourself salary. Fixed financial costs would be interest and cost of acquisition, points, etc. If we're going to be using this strategy, just remember this picture here. You're going to be using less effort to get greater results. Now, in life, you're presented with a job. That means you're going to be working hard. We all do. But at some point, you're going to be presented with an opportunity that I'm presenting to you now, or somebody else is presenting to you in the future. But the point is, you're going to leverage that opportunity to create more opportunities. And once you reach that level, that's when life change happens. That's when you start making a lot better results in your pocket, in your bank account. And this lesson is all about using that money as a lever to lift up your real estate wealth. Now, let's get into what this means. What's BRRRR? B with 4 R's. It's a 5-step process. First of which, where you buy a property, whether it has to be marked under value. So typically those are going to be ones that need work. It's going to need a roof, it's going to need a kitchen, whatever the case may be. That's why it's marked under market value. Step 2 is you rehab. So whatever work that needs to be done, you do that work. But because you do that work, that property is now worth more than the money that you put into it. Step 3, you might be thinking you're going to sell that property. You would be incorrect. You do not sell that property. You rent it out so that you earn a monthly income with that rent. So now you're having, already I'm putting cash in your pocket. We're not even to the last step yet. Once you do that, once you buy the property, you rehab it, you rent it out, now you're going to do a cash out refinance on that higher valuation. And we'll get into what that means in a minute. But you put in a certain amount of money, it's worth more money. You refinance based on that higher valuation. And the last step is you repeat. You do it over and over and over and over again forever until you just don't want to anymore, until you want to stop making money. Step 1, buy. You're going to find a property, probably going to be one that needs work. So where do you find them? Number 1 step, find a good real estate agent, such as myself. I'm a real estate agent, but social media is a good place. Facebook, I know you kids like to use Instagram, but Facebook is where the money's at. That's where the investors are. That's where BRRRR social groups are. That's where real estate investors are that advertise their off-market properties. You purchase that property either with a loan or with cash. Cash is obviously easier, but not a lot of us have all this cash saved up. So whether you purchase it via loan, such as 203K loan that is designed for properties that are not going to pass inspection, or private money lending, whatever the case may be, cash is always preferred, but point is you get that property under your belt. Now, if you're going to be using financing, some kind of loan to purchase this property, it's important, it's super important that step number 1 for you be getting pre-approved for that loan, okay? If you're going to purchase cash, you can bypass that step. But step number 1, if you're purchasing with a loan, is not finding a property. Step number 1 is getting your financing in order. And that is especially true if you're buying your own property, like your main house. Step number 2 is you rehab that property. You've identified that it has to do work. So, or that it needs work. So now you're going to do that work. How do you pay for that work? Well, again, cash or loans for that purpose. You can either hire a contractor to do that work, or you can do it yourself. That just depends on how much your time is worth to you. Time is a resource that you'll never get back. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So if you hire that contractor, it'll be an upfront cost, absolutely, but the work will most likely be done correctly and on time. If you attempt to do the work yourself, take it from experience, you will wish you had done the first step. You will wish you had hired the contractor. Just don't do it. Contractor is going to free your time to find more properties or to be at your 9 to 5 if you choose not to leave it. But the point is, you're going to save some time and effort and money by hiring a contractor. Rent that property out. You've advertised it, you've got yourself a tenant, you're going to start collecting rent once you have a lease in place. And again, that's what's called income while you're sitting on a beach. It's called passive income. It's income that you get a notification on your phone as you're taking a sip of your margarita while you're down in Cancun, and notice that money's just hit your bank. Passive income is where it's at. Of course, you can't keep it all. You have to set money aside for escrows and repairs and vacancies. But the point is simple. Tenant pays, you receive. That's it. You refinance at that higher valuation, right? You're going to contact the lender based on that higher valuation that is more than what you put into it. Most lenders are going to give you about 75% loan to value. So that means if it's worth X amount of dollars, the lender is going to give you 75% of that valuation. So make sure that you structure your deals accordingly. There's some math involved in this, so make sure your numbers line up, but it's pretty safe to say you'll probably get about 75% loan to value. So because you have a loan, sure, now you're earning less rent money, but the most important part of BRRRR, the most beautiful part of BRRRR, is that you have now paid yourself back all of the money that you spent in acquiring this property and fixing it up, and possibly more. Yes, you heard that right. You get all of your money back. So what do? Now that you have all that liquid cash back in your pocket, you do it again. After you do it again, you know what you do? You do it again. You do it again and again and again and again. So let's talk about a typical scenario. The numbers that I'm going to be giving you are just for ease of explanation. So, and in our explanation, we can have a purchase of either finance, or we can have a purchase via cash. In our scenario, we're going to purchase it via cash. We have won the lottery, or our dad just left us an inheritance. Whatever the case may be, we have this money burning a hole in our pocket. So we purchase a property. We find one for $100,000 that needs some work. We spend $20,000 doing that work. But because we've spent that extra $20,000, that property is now it's not going to be worth $160,000 because we spent 120. It's now worth 160. Let's rent it out. Let's say you're collecting $1,500 a month. Now you're generating that passive income that we talked about earlier, that beach money. Now, part two of this is you refinance at that new higher valuation of $160,000. Remember, I said 75% loan to value. That means that a bank is going to be giving you 75% of $160,000, which equals $120,000. That 120 should sound very familiar to you because that was our all-in amount. That was our purchase and rehab money, which means that bank is handing us a check for $120,000, which means we have spent no money on this property. We have this property, we have this income. We have a loan, $850 a month, approximately. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's your mortgage amount that you're paying a month. So that $1,500 in rent minus $850 loan becomes $650 a month cash flow, healthy cash flow, still pretty good. But you've spent no money. You've spent none of your money. All the money that you previously spent is now back in your pocket, ready to be spent again. Let's analyze two deals. You've heard of acquiring properties debt-free. Okay, let's analyze how that works. So in our scenario, We bought in at 120. We are renting at $1,500 a month. We're earning $18,000 a year on that property. That's pretty good. That's one property. Our cash on cash return, which is a term you'll hear in these investments, is going to be 15% a year if purchased with cash. Our money out of pocket, simple enough. If you purchased it with cash, that's $120,000. If you had a loan, you're still paying for that down payment and closing costs and all of that. That's about $25,000. Still pretty good return on your money. But if instead of doing it debt-free, we use debt leverage, we are all in, it's still 120, but we are now earning $650 a month or $7,800 a year. Now, what's that last R? It's repeat. We're going to do this over and over again. So within the first year, maybe within 2 years, we now have 5 properties. Seems like a lot. It's not. There are people that have, using this strategy, they have hundreds of properties. Some have thousands, but we're going to say 5 for us because we're amateurs. So 5 properties gets us $3,250 a month, equals $39,000 a year. Cash on cash is unlimited because we have no cash out. Money out of pocket, how much? Anybody paying attention? $0. We've spent no money. It's beautiful. Howard, if you have a better strategy regarding this real estate investing, please contact me. Tell me how I can make money with no money out of pocket. Now, have I left anything out? Yeah, yeah, I left a lot of things out because it's a class presentation. I am not doing a seminar. I am not a guru. It's a class presentation. There's a lot of things. There's closing costs. There's holding costs. There's taxes. There's insurance. There's liabilities. There's all kinds of things. So please don't think it's this simple, but it is, for the most part, close to being this simple. Now, recommendations for you: read a lot, join small social media groups, find good mentors, people that are experienced doing this. Definitely do your due diligence before purchasing your property. Have a title company, have an attorney research the history of that property, and you have to network. You got to establish a team full of contractors, lenders, title companies, etc. Anybody who's done this has read the book that you see on your right-hand side here, Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, and Repeat by David Green. He's the guru. Now, I've not quoted any of his work in this project, but that's the man right there that everybody knows. Now, I'll leave you with 2 thoughts. First of which, don't let fear stop your growth. Don't let paralysis by analysis, is the term that we use, prevent you from pulling that trigger. Find the right property, but pull that trigger. And my favorite saying in real estate, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. I'm talking to those people that may think about investing in real estate, but you're saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the market to go down. Yeah, imagine the people that said that to me 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year. They're kicking themselves. There's no reason for the market to go down that we see right now. But again, nobody has a crystal ball. If anybody has questions, I'll be around. I thank you for your time, and I wish us all the best of luck with school and in life. Thank you.